Right, it's me Philip, and this video is all about the DualShock 2. Now your DualShock 2, if your controller has gone faulty, it's normally because the membranes have worn out. This red one already has a new membrane put in, but it's still not working. So we're going to take a look at that one first, and we'll see if it can work out what's wrong with it. So this is the controller. It's a nice clear red DualShock 2, and it does come on when connected to the PC, but this is what it looks like. None of the buttons, nothing moves. The only one I do get is that one in the middle, which is now gone off. It worked for a second there, so I get nothing from that apart from the power light, so I know it's got power. So we'll open it up. I'm pretty sure I've already replaced the membrane on this and it didn't solve the problem, so I thought I'll do a video on it. If I can work out why it's doing it, it might help someone with the same problem. I'd like to get this one fixed. CEX do these for I think about £30. These are all nice and clean, so I have been in here before and cleaned them all out. I've pulled this membrane out, so now we've just got the control board. So with the membrane out, I'm going to plug this back in and see if I get the same fault. So that's different now with the no membrane. So is the fault with the membrane or the connector or something else? Let's put a new membrane in and we'll try it again. These are SA1Q43-A. That seems to be working. And if I press analog on, can I move the sticks? I can do. There's the sticks moving. So that looks like it was just, although this one's new. Is this one new? No, this is an old one. Or is it? Because I'm sure I put a new one in here. This one's not working. I can't decide if this is a new one or an old one. It looks exactly the same to me. So I think this is a new one. It's got to be. So this is a new one that doesn't seem to be working. So we'll switch it off again and try it back in. Right, so this is the new one. And look at that. It is definitely faulty, despite the fact that it's new. It does happen. Put this one back in, turn it off, turn it back on, click retry, and we are working again. Excellent. So we will okay. This is the faulty one, so we'll get rid of that. Something's came off here. We'll have to solder that back on and put it back together. I've already cleaned it up. It's unfortunate that the new one I put on was faulty, but this is what you need to buy. An SA1Q43-A for the DualShock 2 controllers. Okay, so we'll pop this back together, if I can remember how. Let's just hold that together. USB, game controller, properties. These top ones aren't working. You can't see, can you? It's these top ones that are not in properly somehow. Let's see, okay. That one's working now. There you go. Triggers are working. Shapes are working. Analogs on. Left, right, up, down. Left, right, up, down. Those are working. Brilliant. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. So it was just a faulty membrane. I've had a couple of new faulty membranes in the past, so it's not unusual. It does happen. So if you're going to order some, order a few. So that's it. Back together. Fully working. And with the success of that, I'll try another one. I've got a silver one here, which is also a DualShock 2. I've tested this one. It's got no response. So let's have a look at that one. Plugged in, switched on. Well, I've got the power light, bring up the USB, and I get nothing on this one. Not a sausage. So we'll open it up and we'll have a look at this one. This one uses a connector which has been soldered down. And there's a little screw in the bottom of the board here. These need a good clean. So with this one, I'm going to have to cut that off. And we'll have to put a new connector on, because you can't pull these out. There's the solder in. So there's my new connector. Now I'm a pin short on this one, but as you can see, the first pin on the board here is unused. So we need to take this one off, put a new one on. We don't have to worry about burning this plastic one, but I am going to try to just run a hot soldering iron over and see if I can get it off in one go. And I'm going to use, you might have guessed, I do have a hot air station, but I'm trying to use the basic tools. So I'm going to be using this low melt bismuth. There we go. It is possible to do these without a microscope, but it is easier to do them with one. So remember, we're a pin short, but this one does look like it's connected. It's not connected on here, but it does go up. I think it could be ground. We'll just have to do it this way. I can't remember if it's that way or that way. So I'm going to do it this way. I'll change it around if this one doesn't work. Let's test for loose pins. That's all solid. Right, have I got that set up the right way? I've got my analog. Do my sticks work? Sticks don't work. So there's a different issue with this one. So there's something different going on in this one. Well, that's interesting. Let's turn it off. Pull this back out. And see if we get a different... So we've still got nothing. Obviously I've pulled the buttons out, but it's a different fault to what we had the last time. I've got power, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take these rumble motors off. The large one is on the right. Whip them off just to make things easier. And I will have a look at the board for any signs of damage. Right, the quality of the board and the soldering does not look very good around this chip. There's nothing on the other side. It could be a problem with the cable, but I do get power. You cannot see very well, but they look awful. Oh, hold on. There's a large bridge there on that chip. Right, let's try that. I should use a couple of these. I should try a different one of these, because there's always a chance that this is faulty as well. Right, let's try. Still nothing. Got my analogs. They're still not working. The analog sticks don't go through this ribbon. So if they're not working, there must be something deeper involved in this board. I wonder if it's that chip. So here's the chip, pin 1. I'm just going to see if I've got any voltage on pin 1. I don't know what the pins are, but if I guess one's gonna have voltage, it may as well be pin 1. Or I can come through from, it looks like the first pin on here is positive, so I can test for voltage on there. But I know I'm getting voltage, at least to the LED. But let's check for voltage on pin 1. Pin 2 looks like ground, so let's start off with the basics. Pin 2 is ground. Pin 1, 4.2 volts. So I've got voltage coming in. So this is ground, 4.2 volts. So I'll go from there to there, down to here, round to here, round to here, through the LED, round to here, up to here, to these capacitors. And then it looks like 2.2. Right, that's okay. Something C6 is missing, but that could be by design. I'm going to have a look around this board and see if I can find some shorts. I can't find any shorted caps. I'm wondering if it's a fault with the chip itself. Q1 here seems to be responsible for the motor, the haptic feedback. Same over here. Q2 goes down to the connections for the motors, so I don't think it's that. Pointing to the chip, because there's not a lot on the board, so I'm wondering if it's the chip itself. I'm tempted to swap this chip over. I have another one, 1 to 8 light up. I've got a black model here, which has got a terrible cable. I think it's damaged at some point, so this cable must be damaged somewhere. There it is. So I'm tempted to open this one up and see what chip it is and swap the chips over. See if we can get one working. So that's what I'll do. Right, well this black one has a different board inside and the chips are different, so we cannot use it. So I'll pop it back together. I've got another silver one, which 1 to 8 light up, but it's the same layout. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to swap chips. This one is really worn, so it's a case of I think if I can get one working out of this pair. I mean, if I can get them both working, that would be better. So that's the one I think's working. So that one I think is the faulty one, but I think is the good one back in. Right, that looks good to me. Right, computer recognises it. Still nothing. And I'm still not getting anything. Could it be a cable fault? We'll put the first chip on the other board and see if that makes any difference. Now I've just realised, of course, I cannot test this until I put a new ribbon cable connector on it. So that's what I'll have to do next. I'll just use my heat gun to take this one off. There we go. I'll use a new one of these. So all we've done, we've swapped the chips over to see if it can work out why the first one won't give us any indication at all. That is now working. Yes, yes, yep, yeah, and the sticks are working, so there's nothing wrong with the chip on the other board, so that's working. That was just the membrane. It's just this one is definitely not working, but I don't think it's the chip, so there's still something wrong with this. That JP1 is fine, I've got continuity. I've checked the Zener diodes here. So the 5 volts comes in here. It runs down this side of the board to power the thumbsticks and the LED, which is here. But the top one comes to this JP1, which might be a fuse, I don't know. And then it comes through, the top one comes through here down to this pin. So if I go through here, I've got my 4 volts, 4 volts, 4 volts, 4 volts, and 4 volts. Right, so this is where I'm up to. I've took measurements on both boards and I've checked all the resistors and the diodes. Can't find any problems. I've started to check the cable. This is the faulty cable, and I've labelled the pins up in there, and so they all match up apart from pin 2. I'm not getting anything on pin 2 and I'm the blue missing. So I think pin 2 is blue, but it's not connected. So if pin 2 is connected to the blue here, that will be my fault. And it is. So I think after all of that, it comes down to there's a break in the blue cable in here. So these have all been cleaned. Let's put it back together. They go in there. Cable's got to go in there. I've left them on, they're still on. I'll swap them out for these two because they're clean. Probably shouldn't put them buttons in. Leave them buttons out until you get this in. It feels good. I had trouble with these the last time. Hang on. There's a screw, isn't it? There's a screw to go in there. I wonder if you can push them up and push them in. There's something not right there. That's not in properly, this one. That feels okay. Let's put 2 screws in and give it a test. 1 and 2. Bottom one. Bottom triggers aren't working. That must be the way I've put it back together. We'll try it with them off. Oh no, they're not working. Is it the ribbon cable not pushed in far enough? I think there could be something wrong with the membrane. Try a different part. No, that's not working. I'm going to have to take it apart and swap the membrane out again. What we'll do before I do that, I'll pop a new membrane on there. Okay, so there's a new membrane. Top trigger. Yep. This top trigger. Yes. So there's nothing wrong with the controller itself. If that's not working, it must be the membrane. Try putting this back in. Right, that's back in. Try that again. Now it's working. Both of them are working. So there was something wrong with this ribbon cable. This mustn't have been pushed all the way in. That saved us a job. Now they're not working. They are working, but there's something not working properly there. I wonder if I've got these upside down. I don't think so. I might have, but yeah, they're upside down. Huh. What is going on? They work. That one's working. So why do these not work? I can't understand it because I haven't missed anything out. If I could get these in from the outside. That's it, man. You idiot. Put them in and push these buttons in from the outside and jobs are good. What a faff on. Why didn't I just do that from the beginning? Right, come on, last final test. Bottom triggers are working. Up, down, left, right. Brilliant. What a blooming pain. Right, so that one's working. So I've managed. The red one's fixed. The silver one's fixed. I've got another silver one here. This is the one with the broken wire. So I can't fix that one at the moment until I get a replacement cable for it. So they can go in there. I've just threw a screw straight onto the floor. Found it. Right. So this one has a damaged cable. That can go to one side. I've got another black one here that's got faulty buttons. Let's check that one out because I'm on a roll. I try to only pay about £3 each for these. This one's got a proper ribbon connector on that you can just open up. It still needs to come fully apart for a good clean though. That's the worst one so far. This one, there's some damage here where the button 1 clips into place. So I'm going to need to replace this front shell, which I might have a replacement shell. Right, I do have a replacement shell. Should go straight into there. And I'm sure I've got a little bag of buttons. That might be them. I think I can just swap these straight over. That might be a nice quick fix. Right, that's me clean buttons. We'll put all the dirty ones over there. Is the new one going to fit on there, or do I have to cut it? I have to cut it, because that's too wide to fit in there. So I'll just trim this. I want to put my glasses on. Right, now the trouble is you've got the two tabs on the ribbon cable, but when you open up the plastic tabs on the side, they're going to go in the way. So I don't know if that's pushed all the way in or not. What did the original one look like? I've put it in the bin. That was the original one, but I've cut it. There's the original one, you see. It doesn't have the tabs on. So the tabs are getting in the way. I'm going to cut these two little tabs off. Put my glasses back on. Right. That's better. Triggers are working. Yep. Looking good. Right, so I'm quite happy with that. Let's put these on. I've just realised, but this front piece is also broken. This is the old one, and it's broken here, the top here. And the new one, the replacement one I've got, is broken there too. It doesn't affect, or it doesn't seem to affect. I might just have to leave it and see how it works. Right, we'll leave it like that and see what happens. Right, let's give that a shot. Yeah, they're working, and analog. Brilliant. So obviously it's a lot easier with the proper ribbon cable connectors on. Another one done. That's number 3 fixed. And lastly, I've got a silver one that says D left right, left trigger's not working. Left trigger not working, right triggers are, and I've got D left, directional left's not working. More than likely just going to need a new membrane. Right, I've used my hot air to take that off. Need a new connector to go on. I'm going to remove those bridges with some more flux. Look at that, magic. Test a few buttons on there to make sure it's working. Left and right, so that's working. I'll try the other. Yeah, let's get this back together, and that will be, this will be the 4th one. Oh, I think I've got to cut these, don't I? Let's have a look. Yes. Trim these again. It's just the sides here are a bit too, these are a bit too big. Put my glasses on. Right. Right, they look good, they look good. They're in place. Take these out. I'm going to repeat the same mistake I made earlier. Push them in from the back. Much easier. Oh, I forgot to check the I forgot those buttons on the analog sticks. I didn't check them on all of them, but I'm sure they're working. There you go. Another one done. So I've managed to fix 4. This is the one I'm most pleased with because it's the nicest one. So I've managed to fix them. They're complete. They can go on to Gumtree. I'll keep the red one. I've got this one which has a damaged cable. I couldn't fix that one because I haven't got a, well, I say it's got a damaged cable, it might be okay, but I couldn't very well sell it. I'm not going to sell it on in that condition. It's actually got cable and buttons, so it needs a new membrane, I would think, and a new cable. I can't sell it in that condition. And the other one is this one. This is the one that had the blue inner cables damaged on this one. The motherboard's got a new cable connector on it, so it's ready to go. So I need 2 new cables and a membrane for that. I've got a membrane for this one, but I tell you what I haven't got. I haven't got a connector for it. This is where I keep the membranes. So I've got a few membranes left. Oh, look. I do have a connector for it. Put that in there. So I'm ready to fix both of them, but I need 2 new cables. I might be tempted to buy a cable extension and cut the end off like I did on the one I fixed. What was it? It was a Sega. The Sega controller. I fixed the Sega controller by using an extension lead. So I might buy 2 extension leads, I don't know. Or I might just keep them for spares and buy a nice big bundle of DualShock 2s and see if I can fix as many as I can. Not bad for a Sunday morning. I'm going to keep this one. This is my favourite. I think it looks great. I've got a blue one of these which is fully working. So I'm going to hang on to these 2 because they're quite nice. And I'll sell the other 3 locally on Gumtree. If you like to watch me break stuff as I try to fix stuff, give us a subscribe. I'm nearly at 600, I think, last time I looked. That's all for now, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Pew 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 pew.